what will finally stop the violence on the gang-infested Cape Flats? Crime is of such a concern there that the Police Minister Bheki Cele has deployed at least 200 police officers to try and curb the scourge. Some officers will be working in the gang-riddled community. eNCA's Ronald Masinda is following that story for us. Ronald, we've seen, law enforcement officers being deployed there. We've seen, for instance, at some point there, the army was even deployed to the Cape Flats, but this doesn't seem to have actually sorted out the issues of the communities living there.
Yes, indeed, Masejo. Well, this morning you are coming to us live from Delft. This is one of the areas that has been ravaged by gang violence. So the situation has become so worse that the Police Minister has since deployed 197 police officers. We also heard from Albert Fritz, the Community Safety MEC, also saying that more law enforcement will be deployed. This week alone, we're also hearing reports that at least 9 people have died in gang-related violence this week alone. So just for more analysis on this scourge and this issue that has ravaged the streets of Cape Town for so many years, I am joined by Fadiel Adams. He is the leader of the Cape Coloured Congress and also a man who knows a lot about gang-related activities. Fadiel, thank you so much for your time. There's always a saying when we talk about gang violence that you either, when you join a gang, you either die within the gang or you go to jail. Just in terms of your own experience, what seems to be the issue that, that law enforcement, police are still grappling with in fighting crime?
Well, 27 years later, we still haven't reached the point where we realize that you can throw all the resources in the world at gang violence and it's not going to do anything, and it's just targeted. And this is not targeted. Throwing 197 more police officers into the Western Cape, well, we applaud it, but it's not going to do anything. They're not sending the proper army out here. We need that army of doctors, of social workers, of skills developers. I mean, this community is traumatized. Policing in its current form is not doing anything for us because the root of this evil is not being addressed. The root of this evil is inequality. It's poverty. It's homelessness. I don't understand. You know, the 3 biggest problems we have in this province is A, our Police Minister Bheki Cele, 2, our MEC for Safety and Security Albert Fritz, 3, our MACO member for Safety and Security JP Smith. 3 people, 3 political appointees, all of them out of their depth. No one knowing what to do next.
A lot of fear is that kids are also targeted now. It's not only about the issue of children being caught in the crossfire. We're all hearing reports of a 4-year-old who was shot in the eye in Hanover Park last week. We're also hearing reports of an 8-year-old who was also shot on the Cape Flats. I mean, this is concerning because these are the kind of people that you don't expect to be involved in gangs. What about the families then of those innocent victims?
Again, you see, the rest of the world might be amazed, but this is our everyday reality. Fact of the matter is there's no trauma counseling, there's no support after the shooting. I'll say it again. We live in high-density crime areas with an entire community that is traumatized by what we hear daily. It's not an uncommon occurrence. I tell you, as I stand here today in Delft, someone is probably going to get shot this morning. Could be me, could be him, but it's what we live with.
As a party, Cape Coloured Congress, have you also tried to perhaps reach out to gang leaders to maybe come to a sort of a resolution?
We have had many talks with many people, amongst them gang leaders, saying, guys, all we want is the shooting to stop. All we want is for you to give our children a chance to grow old. Certain sections of the community applauded it. Politicians in the main were using it to score political points. That's what it is. We'll do anything to stop the violence on the Cape Flats because we're the ones living with the violence in the Cape Flats. Nobody else is, and nobody else is understanding this. You must understand that I live in Cape Town. Within the city of Cape Town, a major gang boss is building houses for the city of Cape Town. A major gang boss is receiving security contracts issued by the city of Cape Town. I'll tell you what they do with that money. They open the next drug franchise. They buy bigger guns. They recruit our sons. The city of Cape Town, the DA-administrated city of Cape Town, is aiding and abetting and empowering the gangs to do what they do well.
Fadiel, we know that the economy is in dire straits. Should there be more jobs to help those who want to escape the life of gangsterism?
Look, you know, our economy is on life support. If you're looking for more jobs, it's not coming this year. But surely there should be structures in place to save our kids. You know, when you get to standard 6, grade 8 as they call it these days, you've got 400 kids at one high school, easily. When you get to matric, you'd be lucky to get 40 of those kids in matric. The other 360, they've just fallen through the cracks. Nobody asked the question where they've gone. Nobody asked the question as to what happens to these kids. Nobody asked, what do we do to prevent this? I'll tell you what happens to these kids. They've been absorbed into the gangs. They're in the prison system, and they terrorize us as we stand here.
Fadiel, very, very quickly before we leave, we do know that we are heading towards election season and the Cape Coloured Congress is campaigning today. Are you the beacon of hope for people on the Cape Flats?
I think we're the last hope for the people on the Cape Flats. We're going door to door in Delft. We are walking out here telling our people that you deserve better than this. That look where we're standing right, all around us, all you see is dirt and death. That's it. We are telling the people, the coloured people, that the DA has a terrible distaste for you, that you deserve better. We are telling the coloured people that you cannot trust the election promises of the DA any more than you can trust the degrees of the MECs and MACO members. We are telling the coloured people that it is their turn to get ready to govern. No to white minority rule.
All right, thank you very much indeed. That was Fadiel Adams speaking to us. Masego, we will continue our conversations around the issue of gang violence. We'll be speaking to gang members as well as try and find out from the victims of families of recent shootings and how they've been coping since those tragic events.